Sorry guys, we got a busy meeting, so, and the screen's not working, so you're just gonna have to trust me. We'll skip. Is John here? So October is blood donation month. Don't all go at the same time. That's we've learned. Pace yourselves. Every week, maybe grab a friend to go donate blood, because that's how blood banks work. We need to time it out a little bit. And bonus, for the month of October, the Northern California Community Blood Bank will plant a tree for any person that donates blood. And their goal is 1,000. So get busy. But gently get busy. I was gonna move this to the front because it's so important. So I want Romy send in some email thank you. She can't be at the meeting today. She wanted to thank Ian for taking on the incredible job of making sure the club is properly vetted, trained, and certified to be able to spend time with Lazo, interactors, and the other youth that we serve. So thank you, Ian, and Romy. And then she also wanted to thank AJ for stepping up to make sure every sign-up genius works. We all show up at the right time at the right place, which is 8:30 after the meeting at the Griffin for Rolling Truffles. Ray for beer for Oktoberfest donated 2 cases, 1 case, a few. Both Matt Babbage and Joyce Heinrichs couldn't be here today, but they bought tickets in absentia to divvy out. Matt sent it to his team, and Joyce said that she would feed any interactors that were working. So that there's 6 tickets, and I'll remind Nick. And then, little drum roll for Marty. Thanks, Marty. But louder. Because through rain, through sleet, through no internet, through no phone service for the last 10 days, he has made sure Oktoberfest is happening and possible. We went grocery shopping yesterday. We're gonna cook it up tonight, tomorrow morning. He's amazing. And we bought him lunch. So when he gets here, we'll give him another round of applause. But let's see. And we'll wait this back. Okay. October 8th, Walk to End Alzheimer's is happening down in the Creamery District. And Melinda's not here, but please look for a way to participate in that. It's an event that's close to a number of our hearts. October 16th, mini golf, 2 p.m. Don't wear your Rotary shirt. I mean, we're not working, it's just fellowship. Not just fellowship. How is Taste of the Holidays going?
Got my tickets. Got my tickets.
All right. And I think I have my own to sell. But yes. Then no Lazo, okay, but we'll wait for that. Yeah. Oh. Hi. Oh.
I just showed up a little late.
Okay. Welcome.
So Taste the Holidays. Really the only thing, not to take away from Oktoberfest or anything. So we're just gonna have a meeting. I think I'll send out an email tonight for Thursday, and that's all I want to say about that right now.
And the meeting's going to be on Thursday, or the email's going out?
Meeting's going out. Will go out today, and the meeting will be on Thursday.
Okay.
Yep.
So I think, okay, so now let's introduce some guests. There are a few of them, I see. All right, Stephanie.
Yes, everyone, this is Bob Dupine. He is finishing up duties at a Rotary Club in Fortuna and scouting out new clubs. So I told
No.
her, you picked a good one to come. And then we'll talk about it. Yes, sorry.
Can I? No.
You're much better at just add to it. Who's that?
Oh, no, I'm saying no.
Oh.
Oh,
There's a white
and Penny is here.
This is my daughter Danielle, this is my granddaughter Penny.
Is she the youngest, Paul Harris?
Yes, that's right.
Hi, Karen.
Good morning.
With first name introduction.
Hi,
first time.
Hi, Robert.
Thank you.
So back by popular demand is Karen Diemer, and she's going to give us a little update. Yeah, you have a little bit more time this time, so like, yeah, come on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think there were a few questions last time. So Vanessa said, hey, maybe come back. So I will try to do it more often. So I thought I'd just give a few updates and leave a little bit of extra time for questions if you had them. I did review my list and we did run through a lot of stuff when I was here. But I'm happy to revisit. Marty goes back to the room and his honor will revisit one of them. But, oh, he's up there working on the money. So a couple of things super relevant coming up this weekend. First of all, we have festivals on the plaza. So we're going to get that and don't want to miss it. In conjunction with that, the city will be doing one of the improvements that came out of the Plaza Improvement Task Force. Yes, just pre-pandemic, but we're revisiting some of those old plans. Was to consider extending the one-way couplet on 8th and 9th Street. So slow down for pet and bike, make some improvements around pet and bike facilities, and then actually increase parking that would be available in the downtown by basically doing the diagonal parking that you see here in this first block from the plaza, extending that all the way down to K Street. So if you have interest in 8th and 9th Street between the plaza and K Street, this weekend on 8th Street between J and K, we'll be doing a pop-up demonstration of what that continuation will look like between 10 and 1, if you're interested in that. But it's good to see some of those recommendations that came forth from that kind of resident and business task force starting to surface again within our budget and within the scope of our ability to work on. We also have, what was I, Marty's still over there working hard. We are hiring for a digital IT technician. So if you know anybody who's interested in full-time work in IT, we actually, the city has an IT department of one. By contrast, and I shouldn't even say this is almost embarrassing, Eureka has 6 full-time and 4 part-time IT staff. And we have Dylan. Dylan is awesome, super awesome. And we're super lucky to have him, but probably everybody in this room knows him. But he literally has run the city's IT system, including support for police department, as well as all of our SCADA, water, wastewater pumps, and how everything connects and talks to each other for a lot of years. So we're excited. We added 1 new position in our budget this year. It is the IT technician, and we're excited to be hiring for that right now. So spread the word. The Planning Commission is still working through diligently our plans for long-term growth and long-term planning, including the gateway. We did have a pretty sizable current project that Starbucks is working on also come forward this week. So the Planning Commission had sort of a big meeting to work through stuff around the gateway planning area, but it got postponed for a couple of weeks. So if you're interested in the gateway, keep tuned in. That will get back on the Planning Commission's agenda here in October. It was going to be a very interactive meeting, which we're using a system called Slido, which allows the Planning Commission to go through a presentation or a series of discussion and then allows the community to vote on their preferences through that. So that was supposed to be on the 27th. But the project, we actually have a multifamily housing project. We'll call it sort of Westwood Court, kind of behind or close to the Murphys in Westwood. Steve Strombeck owns an apartment complex there now and was looking to do pretty significant expansion. So we've had a lot of people in the community come out. And the conversation, I'll say, was very interesting because I think this is a project that probably would have gone through pretty easily 3 or 4 years ago. But this focus on his proposal is continued 2-story. And it covers then sort of the rest of the ground associated with the parcel that he has that already has multifamily on. And so there was a lot of discussion about, would you consider going 3 or 4 stories and therefore leaving us at least half or 3/4 of our courtyard and still getting the same amount of units? So this conversation about how do we get the density of housing and yet preserve the amenities that we want to be living in these areas is a conversation that's really deepening in this community. So we'll see how that single project pans out. And I think it will be a catalyst for some deeper discussion on what we want long-term planning and growth to look like. So I'm going to pause for a minute. Oh, Marty's back. Oh, so first we have to give a round of applause to Marty.
Because you have single-handedly driven this Oktoberfest.
No, there's a whole team that's been doing it.
Yes. It's modest. But we know, like,
And the other thing I was waiting until you got back from Marty was just to share that on this next Wednesday night, the council will be reviewing and likely approving a bid award to Wallen Construction for phase 1 of our wastewater treatment plant retrofit. So their bid came in at $52 million. That's a lot of money, more money than we've ever spent on a project. But as I think I shared with this group just a few weeks ago, we are in the perfect moment to be making these huge improvements, and I really expect 90% of that or more to be grant funded through all of the stimulus funds and infrastructure funds coming down from the state and federal. So we could not be sitting in a better position with a shovel-ready project when the money is here. So we're excited for that. And I mentioned it with Marty because literally this has been in the makings for really, I'd say in earnest 10 years, but really close to 20 years. And some of the work that we've been doing to get to this point, which Marty would have been a part of. Probably feels like forever ago that you retired, but that will continue. So I'm going to pause and just see if there's other topics or other areas that people have questions about. Get a time check from Vanessa.
you have plenty of time.
Plenty of time. Anything about the city? What's right? No questions. Not one question about the city, Greg.
I'm always good for questions. Thank you. So, south of here, the PG&E is saying that they aren't going to provide new hookups basically for Texas South, and maybe as far south as Willet because of the lack of transmission. And there's some concern that, and we had a presentation the other night at our board, that while they're not saying anything about northern Humboldt, that there is some transmission distribution up here that's at capacity. So have they talked to you or you heard anything about that?
They have not reached out to us specifically. I mean, I think we've recognized transmission in and out of the county has always been an issue.
Right.
And so when we look at, say, the wind project, or we looked at large other wind or hydro in this area, you know, the big constraint is we can only push so much power out of here. We can generate plenty of power to operate within here, but PG&E has been really tight. So no, I think we're still okay for the foreseeable future in terms of exactly the growth that we're planning for, specifically around the Humboldt Bay region. But a lot of that is because we're looking to augment with on-site renewables. Yeah. So
We're moving like events like Voice Festival over to the Creamery District. Have you or the city like seen any big changes or business impact or like community benefits or consequences?
It is a mix. So good news is, and I can't do the spoiler alert yet because I don't think it's official and public, but Main Street has made an offer that I think has been accepted for new executive director. The chamber announced their new executive director as well this week. So it'll be great to see both of those organizations kind of regrow as they come out of the pandemic. For the downtown, and the reason I mention that is part of Main Street's core work has been to coordinate a voice for the downtown businesses. And we really haven't had that for about the last year and a half. The mayor and I are going to be meeting with several plaza businesses in about a week and a half just to go through, upgrades that the city is looking at making on the sidewalk on the west side, to talk about the launch of our community ambassador program that we talked about when I was here last. But historically, for the businesses, large events for a few businesses can be great days. They might be great days for libations, it might be great days for Brio, but they can be really bad days for other businesses. So I would say it's a mix. Like 50% of the, maybe not even 40% of the business on the plaza loved Oyster Festival, and like 60% of it was like, I just want to play, but I don't want to be here for Oyster Festival, right? So in our scope of work for Main Street this year is really a focus on business-friendly events that draw to the downtown, but also encourage, shopping and utilization of those downtown businesses. So it appears as though this new executive director has a real passion for that type of event planning, and hopefully we'll grow that back on the plaza. The Creamery District field has been really successful for events, but my understanding is that they've also told the Playhouse now that they're going to be utilizing that for other things. And that's, at least that field space is not going to be available. The city has also trialed with a promoter kind of street events, street parties and concerts on M Street. Joe Ostini has had 4 events. They've come with pretty mixed reviews. I mean, I would say when he came to me, his request was he wanted to have really loud, super fun live music until 1 a.m. And I was like, that sounds great, but that's not happening. So I said, let's try 1 and let's go till 10 o'clock. He was like, no, it's just gonna kill my event. I go, we'll just try 1. So we did, and he actually did a really good job. And we didn't get any complaints on the event until 10 o'clock. So then I said, all right, now let's go to the council and see what they think. And they were sort of in a party mood, so and so they approved events to go until midnight. So I said, okay. So I said to Joe, I said, why don't you try 1 until 11? And so he tried to ramp them up, but certainly once we got past the 10 o'clock mark, we started to get a lot more complaints from the neighborhood. So the council did come back in and say, we're going to hold nothing later than 11, and let's try this for a few events and see how it goes. But I don't see those lasting, even though, I mean, that's a pretty light residential area, there still are residences. And even though I feel like he did everything he could going door to door, he offered hotels for the immediate neighbors to get out for the night if they wanted to. He really tried to buffer the sound away from the residential units, but it's still just outdoor music. So it's just trying to find the right size of event, that fits. The plaza really is an incredible place to host events. So I am very hopeful that this new executive director of Main Street will start to revitalize some of those, and you'll see some of those events come back to the plaza, just not the maybe 10,000 person Oyster Festival that kind of shuts everything down. And a little bit more family friendly. So that's the balance. But Steve.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the improvements that are happening in the Arcata community forest and those that are planned at Redwood Park? I'm an avid mountain biker, and it's really awesome. The jump trail work that's being done out there, which is awesome and fun, and I think it's super attractive. You see a lot of parks and community forests and so forth are putting in a lot of advanced mountain biking trails that are just like super popular, and mountain biking is really taking off, but there's a lot of cool planned stuff at Redwood Park too.
There is, thanks. So one of the benefits of working and living in Arcata is that you get to hire staff that are super passionate about what they do. And we have a lot of park staff that love to ride mountain bikes too. So they build to that passion, or they love to play sports and they're taking care of the sports fields, right? So they really do take a lot of pride in what they do. So we have been doing a lot of mountain bike trail work. The city about 5 years closed on piece of property in the forest is right behind the university, kind of, it was this last inholding, was owned by the Forsyth family. And it had a lot of sort of illegal, I would say, or not, you know, just unauthorized mountain bike trails that were just built by various people because the Forsyths weren't ever on the property and the city didn't maintain it, the university didn't maintain it. So when that came into city ownership, we've gone through and started to really upgrade and bring to standard a lot of those trails in terms of people, I mean, they just kind of have their historic names, like the Peanut Butter Trail and the Jump Trail. But so they're fun. I mean, they're too advanced for me, for sure. But the other piece of it, so then Redwood Park, if you've been up there, it's, I'll just say it's like super embarrassing, like breaks my heart because I came to Parks and Rec. So we will revitalize Redwood Park. But it is getting a full facelift. So it needs a brand new playground. And the other piece that the community really wanted to see in there was a kind of a training, what we call a jump track. So a small sort of course that you can see the whole thing in front of you. Parents can bring kids to that they can practice mountain biking on before they actually go up into the community forest and are in spaces that are single track and you can't see them and your kids are gone and you're not sure if they went off into the forest one way or the other. So we had that planned as well. We are looking for a final designer for Redwood Park. We did just go out for a request for proposals and we only got one that really didn't match the criteria of our scope. So we'll be heading back out looking for creative designers to finish that work up. But yeah, it is definitely time to reinvest in Redwood Park. We do have one grant that we've secured for the work. And then the council has set aside some of our rescue plan, our ARCA funds, the stimulus funds that we received to invest into Redwood Park. And then the Mountain Bike Association has also donated a lot of time and energy into the side of the pump track and getting that work up and done. And I'm sure they'll be out there volunteering on the site to help with that too. So it'll be exciting to see that site renovated. We don't have monies yet to redo all the facilities. They also need to be redone, and I sort of have a dream of a 2-story scout hut that has a view of the bay, but nobody said yes to me on that yet. I'm still working on it.
I was just gonna say, as far as grants go, does that part qualify for many grants, or is it limited with the neighborhoods around it? Some of the big state grants are more.
Aren't so eligible for that area. But what the city has gotten a lot of money for is building affordable housing. So there are certain allocations that are set aside for parks or community amenities associated with affordable housing. And they can go right in the neighborhood or they can be spread into regional sites. And so because Redwood Park is a regional site, we can funnel some of those monies there.
Awesome.
So like Sorrel Place is one area that we got a lot of funds for to build out what we're doing in Shade Park. So that the Shade Park construction is underway right now. And that's right along Alliance. We did put in a basketball court first. Phase 2 is some additional kind of what we used to call parkour, but it's like teen and adult fitness stuff, you really want to get your CrossFit on. Because that really is a neighborhood we have a lot of students living in, and we just thought it might be a little bit more of an attractive site than just kind of a 0 to 5 or 6 to 12 playground. So that came through some of our monies from our affordable housing as well. And then, we're funding things. So the Sorrel Place and then our partnership with the Yurok Tribe on housing out on 29th Street. Somebody here, I think, asked me months ago, we finally got that road paved. It actually looks beautiful. But those 2 projects are funding our 2 electric buses that we hear should be delivered within the next few months as well. Great our bus fleet. So, I think this group probably knows Arcata really lives and breathes on grants. There's no way our local economy is going to generate the money that we need to operate as a city that this community wants to see. So we just chase money a lot, and we have been really successful in getting funds for some of those specialty projects. But we're still looking for other monies for other parts. So if you see anything, let me know. All right, other projects, other questions?
I think we heard a while ago about improvements to the grass baseball park.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still online, scheduled?
Yep. That is still online, and so that was a $1 million state, piece of state funding that Senator Mike McGuire brought in. And so we call that sort of phase 3 of the ballpark. We did the original field upgrades and lighting upgrades, and then we did the seating upgrades, bleacher upgrades. So this will be sort of the facade wall, and it's much more than facade, it's the structural piece of that wall as well, and then that whole entryway. And we've got some improvements to the concessions and the dugouts and some stuff in that. So that's just in design phase right now. And then the other big site that we probably talked about when I was here last is Carlson Park. So that's out along, well, Carlson Parkway, but it's out in the Valley West neighborhood. It is the only parcel that the city owns that actually touches the Mad River. And we've got 2 large grants that get us about $1.5 million. And then we've got one other source of funding that I think should be bringing in about another $1 million to that site here in the next month or so. So that will get kind of full renovation, a non-motorized boat launch into the Mad River, or take up to the Mad River, and then a community playground that the community is working on designing, as well as lots of other trail amenities and the bathroom out there and some stuff. So Carlson Park should be underway in development, hopefully within about a year. These things do take time, but to have that money come in is huge for that site. And speaking of events, that was asked earlier, so the circus, because that creamery site wasn't available for the circus, had been originally scheduled to be out in the creamery, but when that site was pulled from the Playhouse, we also moved the circus to Carlson Park. And we thought, oh, it's super hidden out there. They're not going to do well. They actually had the best year they've ever had in Arcata, and the site worked really well. So it was nice to see some activity out in that area. We actually have a couple of housing units that are open out in that area now. So that whole area near Tractor Supply. And then under construction right now is the Dutch Brothers. If you see the construction right along Jim Colby. So that's under construction for that area as well.
You also have a Red Roof Inn. What's
We do.
happening there?
Yeah, so both the Red Roof Inn and the Days Inn are being converted to permanent supportive housing. The Red Roof Inn escrow has closed, so Dan Cohn now owns that site. And in fact, I think their phase 1 of their building permits have been approved, so they're under construction. That's completely off the market as a hotel at this point. And they hope to have occupancy of people coming in for housing by the end of the year. The Days Inn is being purchased by Arcata House Partnership, and the Days Inn is a site that, in our relationship with Arcata House Partnership, we have been housing people that are currently experiencing homelessness in this community for really the 2+ years of the pandemic. That's the site. So they're very familiar and very comfortable working on that site. But they hope to close escrow actually, I think, any day. And they've got sort of minimal improvements that the state is going to allow them to do to get people in quickly. So I think they also plan to have most of it occupied by the end of the year. So it's time now. We're doing a lot of street outreach, trying to get as many people as we can into the coordinated entry system, because people talk a lot about how do people get placed into permanent supportive housing units. It is on a countywide basis when you have these huge state and federal dollars coming in. So making sure that we do all the outreach we can in Arcata to get everyone who's feeling interested and ready to go into housing right now, making sure that they're on that list, because this is going to be the most units we've ever had come open at one time.
How do you get on that list?
Through Arcata House Partnership, you can just go right down there, and then through the county. They've had street outreach as well.
I know it's very recent, but has the city seen any impact of the Eureka homeless sweep this week?
2 new people that I don't recognize. They just happen to be really loud, so I've been noticing them. But no, I can't say they've come from there. You know, I mean, I can tell you it's just hard. I have heard from colleagues and people that work in Eureka that they've really seen the impact of that. We know that certainly there was a core group from the area behind the Bayshore Mall that relocated up by the river originally, and that we're still, you know, working with and trying to get new services up here. It is a really hard balance. You know, this council is very service first, but there are times that you've all read in the newspaper too that we've had to go in and to move people. We had all of those people that came to park in the safe parking area, right? But then they didn't actually want to come in and be part of the program and follow any of the rules. So we ultimately had to move all of that stuff that was out in front of the safe parking area, people that weren't either eligible or interested or willing to come in with the rules into the program. Once we've moved those, what we have found is that many more people that were living on the streets and needed help now feel comfortable going in. And many people have asked me, did you close that program? Is it not happening anymore? And I was like, no, it's just working perfectly like we thought it would. And they're actually really great neighbors and half of them go to work every day. And another 25% of those that aren't able to work yet have qualified for services they hadn't qualified for before. And they've moved, I think, about 10 or so now into housing or been able to connect with other housing. So it's slow work. And yeah, can't say we've specifically seen people that have come out of that, but I can tell you that, we'll continue to find that balance. We've got some camps right now, right in and around the marsh, that really are doing so much environmental degradation that we just can't allow them to stay in those areas any longer. So you'll see some of that in Arcata too. So how we do that is hard, in a community that does have a lot of compassion. Yeah. Any other Arcata related questions? Anything bugging you? Any sidewalk that's bugging you?
Dandelion, what do we do about the dandelion?
Go first.
Morning glory.
So look at the flag here, and we look at the flag.
Yeah, that's a great question. So election's coming up, 40 days away. And Dave Meserve worked to qualify a measure for the ballot. So he came to the council and said, hey, would you be interested in flying the Earth flag on top? In my mind, it makes sense because, Mother Earth is the global, and then you come down to the federal level, and then the state, and then Cal Poly. No. Cal Poly should be on top. And the council said, there's a lot of rules, there's a lot of feelings, there's a lot of things around flags, and we're not interested in making that change. So he said, all right, I'm taking it to the ballot. So he got enough signatures to qualify for the ballot. The council doesn't have a choice. They could adopt it as is and just implement it, or they can place it on the ballot. Those are the two choices. So they chose to let it go forward to the ballot, which was what he wanted as well. So this community will have the option of voting if they would like to see the Earth flag on top. I'm not a lawyer, but I've had a lot of attorneys look at it. I think that it comports. I think it follows federal law. I think there is enough flexibility in the regulations around federal flag rules that it's okay. I do think that it goes against state law. So I think if somebody challenges it, I think the courts will shut it down. But I don't, it's never been challenged, it's never been taken to court, so who knows? We don't get to say you can't put something on the ballot just because we think it goes against the law. Like, that's not an option for us either. So all of that will unfold after the election, should people choose to have us try to fly the Earth flag on top. And I don't know, that's like a 50-50 in Arcata for me. I have no idea which way that will go.
Why don't we say the first flag on the plaza when we can leave?
I've heard suggestions about putting up a second troll. Like, so you could have the federal, or United States flag and then the Earth flag on a pole secondarily next to it. But Dave Meserve, perhaps he's working with the group, wasn't interested in that either. So I don't know. It's, we have a lot of really meaty topics.
They recently did a demolition on I Street. It was all vacant. It's been a Victorian type building. Is there any plans for that lot? I can see that going a couple different ways. Somebody could try to build something with period. Somebody could. It's on I Street. It's on 12th and I.
Above the water tower, where the water tower is.
Oh, yeah,
It's been
taken for a while. I haven't seen a design come in. It's not to say one hasn't come in the last few months, but I haven't seen a design for that. But before I come back next, I'll be happy to check on that. I know exactly what you're talking about now, parcel. It was in pretty bad shape for a long time. Is there somebody else over here? All right. Any other questions before I turn it back to Vanessa? I'll be here too.
Yes, beautiful.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to go. Thank you very much. So next we have Ms. Terry Clark with the polio update.
Can Marty do his October fest?
Marty's gonna do his October wrestling first.
I need to go up there.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Do
okay.
you need glasses? Marty, do you want my glasses?
Good morning.
Good to
So we have Oktoberfest coming up, and I've had a real backing for getting this thing going. Vanessa says I got it going. Well, I stepped in, and then I have a crew that has helped me when I was out splitting wood and making concrete down in our cabin with no cell phone service. Gosh, we start. We have Maggie, Jessica, Sophie, AJ, Ian, Lisa and Chris Tentel, they're not here, but John Gullum, Tyler and Claire stepped up big time to help me out with all the ordering and the past year's stuff. Jeff Stebbins has made the run on trying to get everybody in for both sponsorship and the barbecue setups. And then Ray Noggle got us in on beer. We've been jockeying back and forth, and I had some of the beer, so it's really good beer. And there's some of it. And Terry has kind of been holding me up, and pushing me along, and that home helps me with the computer. So tomorrow, but today, after the meeting at the Griffin, it's roll your own. You're going to go over and help it. Vanessa, you're going to roll truffles.
Truffles, guys.
Truffles.
So if I want a truffle, I need to go to roll?
So that'll be after the meeting.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Craig's helping me go over to storage, and we're gonna come back and move stuff around. This afternoon, 3:30, I've got the key from Arcata Rex, and we'll be moving stuff over, and we'll start doing food prep. So everybody that signed up, thank you much. And tomorrow's the day. Sausages will be in hopefully Saturday morning, tomorrow morning. They didn't come in on the order this time, so Vanessa helped me yesterday. Actually, she's been behind my back too here, really pushing. So that's
That'll
good.
bring a whole new meaning to roll your own.
That's right. So that's what it is. Show up.
Food prep, for people that are helping with food prep, we have access to the kitchen, but not to the tools that are in there. So, bring a chopping board, knife, pots and
Some cookie
pans,
sheets for
cookie
the pretzels.
sheets for the pretzels, yeah, so, bowls, large bowls. Yes. So dishware that you might use in kitchen prep is a good idea for anybody who's there for today and tomorrow also, if you're on the kitchen duty. So
And there's no hot water, so we're gonna heat hot water, and we'll do cold water washing and spray down, so.
Karen, I heard there's no hot water in community.
It is true. The hot water heater went out and we had this huge dilemma because we're like really trying to convert to all electric and to reduce our natural gas impact and our greenhouse gas emissions. So we decided to go all electric, but speaking of PG&E issues, we don't have enough power on that site to do that. But we still decided to do it. We are going to close 4 of the EV charging stations. We'll still have 2 so that we can operate the new electric water heater, which is on order and it is supposedly stuck in Ukiah. We're supposed to be here and installed by Friday, but I'm here in 2 weeks.
Tell me about it, Penny.
I have one thing for barbecuers on Saturday. I have 3 of 4 barbecues. So if anybody can bring a barbecue, that would be absolutely wonderful. We can make do with 3, but 4 is better.
Because then you can boil water on one.
And for, yeah, and for, that's right.
do it for yourself. The gas stoves work.
And then if you do it, about the only thing you need to do is have bring some tongs with you or some barbecue equipment if you're cooking. So thank you.
So I have a flat top grill at the Griffin that we can borrow. I won't tell Ramon, but yeah. So it could boil water too.
Yeah.
All right, now Terry.
Thank you, President Vanessa. So many of you know that the eradication of polio has been the Rotary Foundation's signature project for 3 decades. And as a reminder, when we first started this, we thought it was a matter of figuring out how many children in the world hadn't been immunized, how much each dose would cost, multiply those, raise the money, and then get everybody taken care of. And that worked well in the first world countries and the second world countries. And then we got to Afghanistan and Pakistan and other places that are continually war torn and full of strife. And there has been so much work on this. And now there are only 2 countries where it's endemic, Pakistan and Afghanistan. And now we have the interesting anti-vax movement, which seems to have incorporated all vaccinations, not just the one that we've needed the last couple of years. So now they're finding polio in sewage in first world countries again, in London and in New York City. So this has been a long road. Rotary's still committed. We have a lot of partners and we're not going to stop. So we have to just keep remembering that not only is it just a plane ride away, but that some little children like this one here in other places aren't being vaccinated against diseases that we've been vaccinated against for 60 years, and maybe more than 60. I can't remember how old I was when I got polio. Polio on the sugar cube, on the little thing. And we lived in Southern California when I was a girl, and I remember in the summers we couldn't go places. My mother didn't want us to go to parks or swimming pools or anything else because polio was still sweeping through our country, which it's not doing anymore. So we have an auction today, Final Friday auction. We do it 10 times a year. We're not doing it in November and December because of Taste of the Holidays and then Christmas. So I put a list together, the whole roster, and I just arbitrarily put months on it and send it out. And some of you brilliantly have responded to me, and some of you have completely, totally ignored all my pleas. And so if I had you on the list for July and I got nothing, I moved you to August, and now it's September, and so anyway, it keeps rolling. So May might be an enormous auction, enormous. And I'm happy to put you wherever you want. And you can also just tell me, leave me alone, and I'll do that too. So not words I love to hear, but I'll respect your,
Not the first time, maybe the second or third time.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, I always think if people don't agree with me, I haven't explained myself correctly. So I try to explain it again.
I always feel that I just haven't explained it loudly enough.
Well, that too, yeah, that too. So I have some Paul Harris Fellows to give, and this is a kind of, I've got excitement and different, something I've never gotten to do before. This is not that first one. Danielle. Here's your certificate. There's your pin. Wear it proudly. And I'm sorry that your baby got first before you did, but that was your. And Rebecca. So, so this is a name change.
Yeah, so some of you may or may not know my youngest child is transgender, and she is a Paul Harris Fellow. So I talked to Terry, and so I got her new Paul Harris Fellow with her new name on it. And it's official, it's legal as of last Friday, and when I can make it to the courthouse, I'll get the official paperwork. And if anybody has questions about now changing your insurance and some of the
She's
stuff,
your girl.
no, it's pretty exciting for us, and we're pretty proud of of my younger daughter now. And
What's the new name?
her new name is Melanie. Okay. Yeah, she picked it herself, which is kind of cool. Most people don't get to pick their own name. So I'm just super proud, and I'm thankful for Terry too.
So I have a story because I wrote to the Rotary Foundation and I had just asked for a new certificate, and I gave them the number that she already had. And like a week later, I got the new certificate in the mail. And the same day I got the certificate, I got an email from the Rotary Foundation saying, I'm sorry, that number belongs to someone else. You're going to have to send us paperwork, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, I wrote back, I'm good, I got the new certificate, thank you very much.
Well, if they ever need to follow up on the actual paperwork, I will have their certificate.
Okay,
Figure out
that's
how,
cool.
like, I don't know, insurance is the next thing, because it'll be awesome when she goes to the doctor's office and the doctor doesn't mistake her for her old name. All her records will be in her new name. It's really, for those folks out there who, you know, gender identity is really important. It's a big deal, so thank you.
And I always say, you don't have to stop at just one, so, and Charlie Jordan, listen to me, so she has her second, yes. So she gets a lovely faux blue sapphire. It's real blue, but it's not a real sapphire.
Okay. I'll work on it.
Okay. That's good. And Bobby's gonna be our auctioneer today. So,
Are we on? No, we're cutting Bob off. We're not letting him. We're gonna do the auction first. We're gonna wrap it so you get money.
There was no raffle, but it all got messed up, so we don't know what we're doing, but we're doing this. So it's $20. That'd be great. All right, it's $20. Yeah.
17-4.
721.
$dollar on the table.
$1 on the table.
663.
just before we.
Someone's got it. What's the number? 6.
I think it's unique. So when no one answers, 663.
Right here.
Oh, guess what? We cheated, it was his. You got $5 though.
All right, keep it moving. Oh.
So I figured I'd do an upcycle gift. I bought a house this year and I don't have enough space for all of my art and decorative things in my house. Figured it might be a nice way for someone else to decorate their living room. So there's 2 paintings by Andrew Daniel, who's a wonderful artist in town. So one is of the marsh, and I forget where the other one is from. Some nice candle holders that were on my mantle.
They go with it.
Magazine basket. If you wanna beef up one of your guest rooms or your living room or something, and there you go. And
right.
keeping it affordable.
Well, decorating
So-
for local art.
I like the upcycle, recycle, reuse, rehome.
How about $100 bid? Is there a $100 bid out there, anybody? $100? Okay, how about $50? $50? $50 out there? I have $50. Is there $60? $60 anywhere? This is pretty simple decorating, Dick. Right? $50? Is there 60? 60, $50 going once?
Whoa, 75. Joyce online.
Oh, we were gonna sell it to her anyway. Thank you, Joyce. You probably want to take a little better look at this, maybe. Is that the camera? This one. Okay, so I have $75. Is there $80 anywhere? $75, $80 out there? I have $80. Joyce, I have $80. How about 90? You got $90? $90 anywhere? Joyce, 80, what do I have? 80? I have 80, 80. 80 going once, going twice, sold to Dick Johnson. Thank you, Joyce, though, anyway.
Wait, I bid 100.
A reminder that we're now Venmoing me, Terry Clark 2020. If you're the winning bidder, please, and then.
Oh, well, no way.
Right away. Okay.
Oh.
John, you want to tell us about this? Is there a bid?
You'll catch the next one, Joyce.
Okay, so, no, Paul Harris, money for me because this was actually donated, by the Southern Humboldt Chamber of Commerce. I did spend $5 on an accessory, but this is a coffee cup from Huckleberry Hills Farms, and half an ounce of cannabis. So, this is Margie's Magic. It's a hybrid of Paradise Punch and wishful thinking.
I really want that
Comes with some really nice stickers.
Okay, this is officially, we've had two firsts
Oh,
now today, but
right.
this is the second.
So we're gonna take that off while I don't represent anyone. No, I'm not a locally blown glass pipe from Pacific Paradise.
I love the 21st century.
So every final Friday, we have baskets and such, and I've been sober for 19 years, so I don't spend a lot of time in the booze aisle. So I thought I'd go a different direction with this. But again, I mentioned the auction to the president of the Southern Humboldt, or the executive director of the Southern Humboldt Chamber of Commerce, who's also the president of the Garberville Rotary Club. And she said, here. So this is a
I think these guys wrote for Willie Nelson's brand.
yes.
It's Johnny Casale I went to high school with.
Yes. They had an article in Forbes about the cannabis market, and they interviewed the guy who grew
$100.
So,
$500 bid up there? $500 bid. It's like $500. All right, we'll come down to 100. Is there 100? 100. Comes with the cup.
Dustin?
$100. $100. $50.
Right here.
All right, Greg's got it. All right. Greg Foster, by the way. Rotary. I know this is nice. All right, what would you pay? $50? Is there 75? You are 75, 75, 75, $50. I got 75. How about 100? Right?
Actually,
100. I got $100. Go ahead.
What's inside the cup retails for $50. So just so yeah, and then the cup is like $104.
I got a buzzkill.
Price is really- It's like a $90 cup.
Oh. Okay. Well, this happened down
Okay,
for
we
2
got more
minutes.
stuff to do about this, so maybe after the meeting, we can all talk about pop with Karen Diemer.
Okay, and with that, I don't know where I am. Are you 75? $100 going once.
Nope, I'm watching. No.
Thank you. All right. Going 3 times? Sold. Okay, all right. If you guys don't know, the Redwood Music Festival kind of started last night, full on tonight. Here are 2 sponsor all venue passes for this year's music festival. Is there a $100 bid out there? $100. Here you go tonight. Maybe even this afternoon. I don't know. Ah.
And I think they're going for about 160.
Yeah. Okay.
And
All
tonight
right.
there's a whole night of music at the Eureka Theater tonight and tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Who wants to go? Who's free? What? I have a $100 bid. $100 bid. Is there $120? $120 bid? I have 120. Is there $140? $140 bid? $140? I have 150. I have 150. I have a $150 bid. How about 175? 175. I got it from Tom. 175. 175.
$320 value on this too.
$320 value. Anybody online?
Nope.
Couldn't bust them out this morning, but maybe they'll go tonight. Okay. All right. What did I say? 175. Thank you, Marty. 175 going once. Going twice. Sold. Yeah.
Okay, who bought the pie? Because here's the chocolate to go with it. This is from Romy. It's all sorts of, okay. It's all sorts of chocolate. Okay.
From
Romy.
Roaming places. Okay, all right. $100 bid out there, who's the chocolate people? Who are the chocolate people? $100. $50, is there $50? I have $50, is there 75? $50, 75? We'll take $75. How about 100? Ian? All right, Jeff is 75, 100 bucks, anywhere? 100 bucks? 90 bucks, $90. We gotta go. 75 going once, going twice, sold, Jeff says. Everybody clap.
Sure. So this is, I can't tell where I'm supposed to be showing this. This is from Susan Johnson. It's a health sport package. There's an hour-long massage, a 3-month membership. There are clothes, swag, gear, towel, some
T-shirt, hat,
t-shirt,
ribbon.
and some body oil, a high tide body oil, the herb kind, it says. Okay.
High tide.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a $400 value.
$400 value. Is there a $100 bid out there? Who wants to go to health sport? Who wants to try it out? 3 months.
Lori's got 100.
I have $100. Is there 120? 120? 120? I have $100 online. Who are we talking about?
Lori.
Thank you, Lori. $100. 120? 120? 120 out there anywhere? $100 going once? Greg, was that up?
No.
Okay, no, $100.
I don't know what I'm doing, I'm stoned, man.
Go ahead.
Joyce has 120.
Hey, Joyce is 120. Is there 140? Lori, 140. We have 120. 120 from Joyce.
And a smile from Lori.
120. Pardon?
And a smile from Lori.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Oh, Lori, 140.
All right, Lori's 140.
Ooh.
140. How about 150? 160. Anybody out there?
160 from Joyce.
140 going once.
160 from Joyce.
160. Okay, we're at 160. I gotta leave you guys. It's 160. 160. 160. Do we have 180? 180 out there anywhere? 180? 160? 160 going once, going twice. Sold, I think, to Joyce.
To Joyce. 160.
160.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Joyce. Ray has beer.
Yes, so there's always a good time to have beer in October, it's the perfect time for beer. So we have a 6-pack of a lovely Bavarian lager and a lovely Oktoberfest medicine. So, individually, and quickly. So, who wants to pay $20 for one? What do you got? There's one. Which one? You get to choose. The lager. You got the lager.
Okay, the other. Brian Reeser got the
Brian
lager.
Reeser. There's one more lager and 2 Americans.
AJ.
Looks like AJ.
AJ, which do you want?
I want to start with Mike.
Lori has 50 on the lager, Lori, or the, yes, lager, 50.
I'll just go to the tap room later.
A lot more expensive for Rotary.
So Lori got it for 50, yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
Lori gets one for 50, 20, 20, 20. Perfect. Done.
Okay.
Ray, do you have the rayhasbeer.com URL?
I can't spell, so I don't know.
All right. Okay.
Okay, so this is our last item. Marty and I were in the Bay Area last week, so I got to go to Pinsey Spices. So this is a 4-pack of baking spices. There's actually, it's called baking spice. Cinnamon, vanilla sugar, and cocoa. And 2 autumnal napkins to go with it that I make. And
their mouth on that.
you know what? You have probably, not this one particularly, but, and they're washable, they're cotton, and I will make you 6 more, not that match this, because I don't have this fabric, but you can tell me colors, or if you want Christmas, or whatever. So it's these 2 plus this, plus 6 more napkins.
Plus 6 more, okay.
$100.
$100. I have $100, 120, 120, I have 120, how about 140? 140, 140, online, 140, I have 120, 140, 120 going once. Last item, 120 going twice,
So.
Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who gave money to the Rotary Foundation when you paid your dues. I got that check this week, and that will be going off to the Rotary Foundation. I appreciate it. And 820. 820. Thank you very much. Totally just raised.
Ian had one announcement.
Be quick. So we had a great info night for prospective youth exchange students last night. Thanks Claire and Stephanie for being there and supporting. We are at a point right now in time where we need to commit to the next year's program because we're about to interview prospective students. And when we send a student, that means we're going to bring one in. So we all know what that means, right? Host families. That's how the program runs. So we have 3 current opportunities for hosting. We have a 3rd family for Lazo that's still open. And we have our first 2 families for next year that are open. And really, it's our duty before we nominate a student, start them down that road to make sure that we're ready to accept the next student coming in. So the ask is, it doesn't have to be you, but please use your networking powers. You know people in the community that other people in the club don't know, just go talk to people about it. And if anybody has questions you're not sure how to answer, please just have them call Claire or Stephanie or any of the host families that have hosted before, and we'll help them understand the program and make sure, you know, if it's right for them. So that's the ask. Thank you for supporting the program. This is something we all do as a club. It's not just your committee of 3. So thanks everybody.
Tomas?
Dustin has to make an announcement real quick. Foundation Dinner North is on 10/15. Sequoia Center registration links are in your inbox. He can resend if anybody didn't get it. Please contact him. A little bit late. They had an incredible year for giving. 10/15. Foundation
Oh,
Dinner.
thank you for reminding me, Tomas. No, 15, 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. It's going to be at Sequoia Conference Center, and it's a Mardi Gras theme. And I hope that we have a huge turnout from our club because, as I've said before, you are going to see Arcata Sunrise on a lot of slides that for our giving last year. And what else? I think that's all.
There's a seminar about the.
Oh, yes, from 3 to 5, same place, same day, the Rotary Foundation seminar, so it's 2 hours. You can either wear your Mardi Gras clothes to the seminar, or you can do what I'm going to do and put your Mardi Gras clothes in the car and change in between. Although maybe I'll change my mind, I don't know.
It's early yet. And John, you had.
I'm the other person now. The blood bank. For the month of October, we're planting a tree for every blood donation. So I've got a stack here. If everybody would grab a dozen or so of these, hand them out to friends. We're particularly looking for people who've never donated before or haven't donated in a long time. We've had some changes in the eligibility requirements. So if you've ever been deferred in the past, particularly for travel in Europe or the UK, that rule is actually being rescinded. We're in the process of doing the computer programming to get people back in. But if you've been deferred in the past, give us a call, find out you might be eligible again. And I'll go ahead and add that on Wednesday, we sent blood products to South Carolina to go to Florida because we're working with a network of blood centers that are basically committing to having each other's backs. We used to be able, when we were running locally, we used to be able to pick up the phone and meet somebody at the Straw House from Reading and get what we needed. Everybody is out of blood. So what we've done is set up this system where we hold back 15 units in case there's a mass casualty event somewhere, and these other blood centers do the same. So they've got our back and we've got theirs. But the best blood is what we get locally and have in the refrigerator when we need it, because we never know when we're going to need it. So planting a tree in Uganda for every blood donation in the month of October. Typically we do 800 to 900, and we've committed to 1,000. So tell your friends.
Anybody else have anything online? All right, beautiful guys. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend.